Hey guys, it's Siobhan with To Kitty and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing monthly horoscope readings for November 2019, and this is for Aquarius. Okay, so that can apply to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. I am going to pull some romance angel cards for love life at the end of the overall month reading, and we will go from there. So keep in mind that this is a general reading for the collective. Not all of the messages are going to apply to everybody, so if it doesn't resonate, just don't take it. It's not for you. Don't try to make it fit. Just take what resonates with you and leave the rest here, as I always say. Don't forget to check your moon and rising sign videos as well if this is your sun sign. I like to check all three every month just because it gives a better overall idea of the themes that are affecting in the particular time period. Time is not linear, keep that in mind as well. So this may not play out specifically just in November. It can have already begun, or it can be beginning later on. So we shall see what is going on for Aquarius. Okay. All right. Aquarius, your current self is coming up as the Eight of Swords. Okay, the theme of the month is the Knight of Swords. The key goal this month, you have the Seven of Wands. The obstacle to overcome is the Page of Wands. Major accomplishment is the Moon. What to avoid in November, you have the Wheel of Fortune. It's funny, I saw this in the pre-shuffle. What to embrace, you have the Nine of Wands. Where to find support, you have the Four of Pentacles. And last but not least, advice and encouragement, you have the King of Pentacles. Okay, so let us see. Aquarius, your current self-energy is coming up as the Eight of Swords. So this is a little bit of a difficult energy to be in. It's a mental trap, basically. So this is you having created boundaries or barriers for yourself in your ways of thinking or your beliefs, because beliefs are really just continuous ways of thinking that are very emotionally invested within. So this is a bit of a mental barrier that is preventing you from seeing things clearly or from taking action in some specific direction, because really in reality, this is a self-created prison, basically. These are mind-forged manacles. I can't remember where that quote came from. I learned it in one of my English lit classes. So mind forged manacles, it's basically your own beliefs, your own level of thinking and understanding are creating barriers for you. So what you believe is possible is all that's possible. So when you open your mind and you expand your beliefs and you expand what you think is possible, you take away your own limitations. So the only limitations are the limitations that you believe exist. And in this case, they're keeping you a little bit stuck, right? And you don't even see that it's you that's creating the limitation in the first place. And that's the major barrier to overcome, is because how do you realize that it's you? Well, that's for you to discover. But the theme of the month is Knight of Swords. So this is rushing forward into something quickly. You do have the hawk there up in the tree, which is a higher perspective. The hawk is the bridge between worlds. He's the messenger of the gods. So he's able to fly high, to see things objectively, clearly from this higher self perspective, so to speak, and then to descend back down to earth to bring these messages of clarity and understanding. So this is something that can help you to free your mind from that Eight of Swords trap. So the Knight of Swords can be really a very quick, fast acting type of energy that'll help you see things clearly, have some kind of an epiphany or a message that comes in that allows you to free yourself. But you do have to be careful with the Knight of Swords, because he can be in the negative sense, a little bit overzealous. He might, rush in too much, and then he can be a little bit too cutting with the way that the message is delivered. So just keep that in mind. But there is definitely an opportunity here for you guys to receive some kind of information that's going to help you to get out of the mental trap that you've kind of put yourself in. So the key goal this month is the Seven of Wands. So this is, okay, in the context of the reading thus far, it's really not about standing up for what you believe in or defending your ground. This is more so about not doing that. So this is kind of doing the opposite. The key goal this month is to kind of stand down on what you believe in. You don't have to constantly feel like you need to defend your beliefs or to fight against other people or to feel attacked by other people because their beliefs are different. I think that there's a huge conflict of interest when it comes to our beliefs and how we feel like we need to enforce them on others, and we take it as a personal affront when people don't believe what we believe, or we feel personally attacked when people share their beliefs with us and they're different than what we have. So there's this thing called cognitive dissonance, which happens in the brain. It's a physical response in the brain in the presence of information that goes against what we believe. So it's the brain's way of defending itself, but what it does is it kicks up into fight or flight response. So whenever there's something that challenges what you currently hold as a paradigm of understanding in your reality, your brain will literally resist it. And the best example I have of this is, and it happens out of fear. If you guys are familiar with Harry Potter, when the Dark Lord comes back and Dumbledore is like, okay, this is happening, like, what can we do about it? Fudge, the Minister for Magic, goes into resistance. He's like, nope, this isn't happening. This isn't real. I don't believe it. And that actually creates more issues down the line because he wasn't willing to accept the truth when it was presented to him because it was challenging, because it drove him into fear. So this is kind of the physical representation or the metaphorical representation of cognitive dissonance. So the Seven of Wands in your key goal this month for November is not to go into cognitive dissonance when it comes to your beliefs being challenged. Oh my God, Mercury retrograde already is freaking with my communication abilities, guys. So basically, I think you guys get the gist of what I'm saying amidst my ramblings here, is that when there is information that is presented that challenges your beliefs, or that gives you access to information that really kind of shows you where you've been limiting yourself, then this is going to, initially, it may cause fear, it may cause you to go into resistance, you may want to point fingers and blame other people, but this is a gift, okay? This is something that's being given to you from the gods, from yourself, from the universe, from your higher self, so that you can break free from those patterns of self-limitation. Okay, so let's move forward. The obstacle to overcome this month is the Page of Wands. So this is interesting. The Page of Wands, I always see him as a very adventurous, very, he's at the beginning of his studies. He doesn't necessarily know what he wants to do or where he wants to go yet, but he's got a fair amount of confidence. He's like, okay, well, I'm not like the best, but I know that I'm going to be better. The students all have to start somewhere, and I don't know why these Harry Potter references keep coming to me, but it's another one from Harry Potter. So sorry if you guys don't like Harry Potter, but like, I'm a huge fan. So what does Harry say when he's creating Dumbledore's army and he's training all his fellow students to do all these really complicated spells? He's like, every wizard has started as nothing more than what we are now, students. So if they can do it, why not us? This is the Page of Swords type of mentality, Page of Wands. Page of Wands mentality is very much about, he knows he's a beginner, he's not very good at it yet, but he knows that with the practice and with his innate talents, he can become great. And so there is a little bit of that inner confidence that is there to begin with, and he just builds on that and grows from there. Now, this coming up in the obstacle position can indicate that this can be a little bit an area of challenge for you. So this may not come as something easy. This, you may feel a lot of self-doubt. You may feel like you don't know how to move forward or to become great or to grow into this master when you're just this beginner. But the obstacle is always something that we can overcome. With every problem, there is always a solution. It is just the balance of the universe that dictates that, right? It's not like a pie in the sky type of thing. It's not like, oh, there must be a solution. No, there is a solution. There is always a solution. And the only limitation on finding that solution is, again, your belief around what is possible. Okay, so the major accomplishment in November is the moon card. So I love this because the moon is an interesting energy to work with. It is cyclical. It dictates the energy of a month. So you may, by the end of this month, be completely renewed and have cleared this cycle, especially with the Wheel of Fortune coming up next. But it's also very much about the subconscious mind and illusion. So the illusion that is cast by the light of the moon is ultimately the self illusion and self delusion that we've created for ourselves out of fear. Because the moon and the darkness really represent that fear. The moon is a reflection of the light from the sun. So it doesn't have its own light source, and so it fears and it casts light, but there's always shadow involved. Okay? So where in the sunlight we see things very, very clearly for what they are, in the moonlight things can be a bit tricky to really make out. They can play mental tricks on us. There can be monsters there that aren't actually there, okay? And it's really just the darkness and the fear that creates that illusion. So this is about breaking through the illusion and really seeing things clearly for the first time, because when you have access to your subconscious mind, yes, it's tricky, but at the same time, this is a wealth of information. Your conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg. Your subconscious mind is everything else below the ocean surface, as well as the ocean itself. It's not just the iceberg, it's the whole damn ocean. So, this is a lot of information, a lot of intuitive, emotional, and psychic information, as well as stored beliefs and programming. So, when you can access your own programming and understand it from a higher perspective, then you can take responsibility and reprogram. You don't have to live in those same limiting structures of belief. You can teach yourself new ones. You can create new beliefs based on new levels of understanding and take back your power to be able to manifest really, really effectively. So, clearing out the subconscious mind of all of the fears and the shadows really allows you to, oh my gosh, exponentially move forward and end cycles. Put an end to those old cycles of choice. Because it's a choice. It's a choice to limit yourself, but it comes always, always, always from fear. So the major accomplishment is the moon. You guys are going to access this new level of subconscious information to clear away the fear and the disillusionment, as well as the self-delusion therein. So what to avoid? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune in the avoid position, which is kind of not a negative position, but it's something to just be aware of so that you don't repeat these cycles. Because the Wheel of Fortune is the spinning of the wheel. It is karma. It is choice. It is the constant change that we go through. Now, these choices that we make will always create a movement. Every choice that we make creates some kind of a response. There's always a result or a consequence of our actions. So this Wheel of Fortune is asking you to avoid continuing to make the same choices and continue on the same paths of cyclical type of thing, right? Okay, so every time that you make a choice that is the same, you will continue to get the same results. So you have to kind of push yourself outside of your comfort zone here to make choices that are new so that you get new results. And that can be scary because when the Wheel of Fortune turns, we don't necessarily know what it's going to bring. And so that's why a lot of the time as humans, we tend to make the same choices over and over and over again, hoping for different results. My mom always said that doing that is the definition of insanity. But we never get any new result. We always get the same thing. And we actually end up getting comfortable in that result, even if it's not what we want, simply because it's familiar, simply because it has become ingrained in our psyche. Our neural pathways are comfortable with that. But the good thing about your brain and your soul is that you can change those structures at any time based on your will. Your will is the strongest thing that you possess within you. Your consciousness is an expression of that. So you have the ability to change your fortune for the better or for the worse. It's completely up to you. You are at will here. You have free will to change whatever you wish, for better or for worse. So when you act and make decisions from a place of inspiration, from a place of confidence, and from a place of overall understanding. That's when you make positive choices that are in alignment with your soul and your self expression. That's where you're going to be able to have this wheel of fortune turn in a positive effect. So it's up to you, and it's very individual for everybody. So a negative choice for one person may not be a negative choice for another person. We tend to think of negative choice as like something, just overreachingly negative, like killing somebody. Of course, that's always going to be a negative choice for everybody. But there are other little things like, oh, do I want to start this job? It might be a positive choice for one person and a negative choice for the other. It really just depends on who they are at soul level and what's going to be good or bad for them. So this is really about getting down to the nitty-gritty of your subconscious mind, figuring out who you are at soul level so that you can make choices that are going to be in alignment with you rather than negative choices that are blocking or restricting you in some way, especially with that Eight of Swords there. So what to embrace? You have the Nine of Wands. This is embrace the journey. Okay, the Nine of Wands is not an easy card by any means. He's the wounded warrior. He's been through some shit. I mean, look at all those wands behind him. He's been through 9 of them, 8 at the very least, because he's got one in his hands. But he's been through it, and he's fought his way out, and that has left some scars. And some of those scars may be the fear and the things that are contributing to the programming and the limitations, right? But he's still there. He's down on one knee, but he's not laid out yet. He's still ready to keep moving forward. And the 9 is really about this coming to the end of its cycle. So it's not going to continue in that vein. It's not going to continue to be difficult and painful. You just have to have the perseverance, the fortitude, and the faith and the trust to keep moving forward despite what's happened in the past, despite those beliefs, etc. Because that wheel of fortune is going to turn no matter what. And what it brings to you is based on what you put into it. It's based on the choices and the actions that you take. So if you move forward with faith, you will be rewarded with more things to be faithful for, be thankful for. If you move forward out of fear, you're going to continue to be rewarded with fear. It's really not a complex process. It's like science. It's just a product. It's a cause and effect type of thing. So where to find support? You've got the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles, I always see as somebody, kind of holding on. I see him as like the Scrooge McDuck of the tarot. Like he's kind of a miser. He likes to hold on to things. He likes to hoard, I guess. So it's interesting that it's coming up in the where to find support position, because that's not usually a supporting type of energy, but this happens a lot with these readings. So the Four of Pentacles, what else can it indicate? Well, stability, particularly financial stability or physical stability of some kind. So being secure, having a good foundation, having a safety net or a nest egg or something that you can fall back on, something that makes you feel safe, confident, secure. That is where to find support through this change, because the Wheel of Fortune will always shift. And sometimes, no matter our best efforts, it will always bring us a little bit of something that we didn't want. So this is where the support network comes in. It's having that safety net. It's having that savings in your account. It's having enough to be able to do what you need to do when you need to do it, right? So if you need to take some time off to go on a retreat, to find yourself, to do some self-healing, if you need counseling, if you need some spiritual healing or something like that, then having the money to do that is going to support you. So be good with your money, save your money, give yourself a budget, make sure that you're sticking to it, or, at least saving some money every month, because that way you'll have that sense of security, knowing that whatever happens, you're going to be okay, right? So this is also emotional, that emotional sense of security as well, because if even at a physical level, that translates to emotional levels, right? Like when we're broke, we feel worthless about ourselves. We emotionally, we can get depressed, we get really stressed out, we have anxiety, and these are fears, and they create more lack. So when you're in debt, or when you're experiencing a lack in your life, that is hard to get out of, because it creates the cycle of lack, right? When you're in lack, you fear, and then you create more lack because you're in that fear of lack. So it's hard to get out, because what you actually have to do to get out of it is to have the faith and the trust, knowing that you can manifest more and feel in that moment safe and secure. Okay? That's hard to do. They don't tell you that in law of attraction. It's one thing to sit there and say affirmations like, I'm abundant, I have it more than enough, I'm really thankful for this, but you have to believe it. You have to feel it to be able to attract it. So when you're in a position of lack or of fear, it's hard to do that. So, like, I'm right there with you guys. It's easier said than done. But that being said, it is totally doable. So this Four of Pentacles is saying to continue to save your money, because it's going to help you feel more secure. And when you feel more secure, you attract more security, right? And if you don't have that here, then this is supporting you in saying that, just to try and make yourself feel that way. Like, do anything that you can to make yourself aware of what you have. So be thankful, write a list of all of the things that you have that you're grateful for. And if you can't find anything, then that's bullshit. Straight up. Like, there are things that you can be thankful for. Do you have the use of your legs? Be thankful for that. Are you alive? Be thankful for that. Do you have a house over your head? Be thankful. Running water? Hell yeah. Plumbing? Fuck yeah. Thankful for that. All of that. Sorry, excuse my French, my language. But I'm passionate about this, guys, because this is something that we all go through. This is something that we all experience on different levels of the experience of it, different spectrums, but it's still the same underlying issue, is that we sometimes take for granted things that we have, and then we get stuck in lack, in fear, in self-limitation. And that is not why we came to earth. We didn't come here to live like that. We came here to be as expressive and creative and abundant as possible. But sometimes to do that, we have to go through the ringer to pull ourselves out. And in that, we are given the opportunity to feel even more grateful for than what we do have, because we really, really worked for it. So that really gives you something to be grateful for. The advice and encouragement here is the King of Pentacles. So this is the overall abundance that you are, that you have access to. So if you're not seeing the abundance right now, that Wheel of Fortune is going to turn, and it's going to bring you into this King of Pentacles energy. So he's very, very secure. He's very grounded. He's good with his money. He's got tons of savings. He invests in the future. He's conscious of his past, and he does not repeat the mistakes of the past, especially when it comes to savings, security, and wealth. He's very aware of what didn't work so that he can continue to make changes on what does work. He's willing to invest when there is a little bit of risk, because he knows that a certain level of risk will have a certain level of payoff eventually, when you continue to make wise judgment calls when it comes to that kind of thing. So this is, he's very shrewd, he's business savvy, but he's also very caring, nurturing, loving, protective. He's the quintessential loving, nurturing father figure. He definitely likes to spoil, So this is an energy of somebody who is very wealthy and is not a miser about it. Like they're very generous, very loving, very caring. And so this is an aspect of you where you can find encouragement to move forward. Or this may be somebody who quite literally is backing you up financially, or somebody who wants to invest in you, either physically or just with their energy. Like they just want to support you. They want to hold space for you. They want to see you succeed. And this is somebody who is successful, and so they believe that you can succeed. Haters are never anybody who is above you. Haters are always people who are below you, and it's only ever out of fear. And the act of hating is such a negative cycle, because when you see something that you want in somebody else, that's something to be celebrated. That means that you're aligning with what you want. It's being shown to you, like, this is an example of what you can achieve. But the pitfall here is that people go into fear and self-judgment around not having it, and then they hate in response. They're like, oh, you have what I have and I don't, it's not fair. But that is creating a limiting cycle. This is that Eight of Swords. That's what perpetuates that negative karma. That's a negative choice in any respect. So when we see somebody who has or is more successful than us, who has what we want to have, be grateful for that. Don't go into fear or judgment. Don't go into envy or jealousy. Sit there and go, and if you catch yourself, catch it. Catch yourself. Be objective. Say, hey, 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 no, we're not doing that today. Remember, we're going to look at it from this perspective. Wow, I'm aligning with what I want because I'm being shown it in my reality. I'm being given an example of success because I am able to become that. Yeah, it does take a little bit of dedication and work here. You may not be the King of Wands yet. You're still the Page of Wands. You're not a master yet. You're still a student. But guess what? Everybody's got to start somewhere. And if you dig your heels in and go into hate mode, you're never going to get there. You have to look past that, find the passion that you have within you, and move forward using that passion as fuel to get you to where you want to go. And sometimes the road is difficult. Sometimes it's a bumpy road and we go through all these pitfalls and trials and tribulations. But guess what? Stay standing. Keep moving forward, because eventually you're going to get it. You're going to get it. You're going to understand it. You're going to break through the barrier and you'll just be like, oh my God, it all makes sense now. And then before you know it, boom, you're abundant. You're exactly where you wanted to be. You've got everything you wanted. And that's when it counts to be really, really grateful. So take a look around. If you don't have what you want right now, then there's things to assess within yourself as to why that is. Make the effort. Right on the bottom of the deck, make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So in the realm of love, as well as in every other realm, especially financial, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. You just have to believe that you can. Because if you believe that you can't, then you can't. It's unfortunate that the world works that way, but our consciousness is our creator. So if we say we can't, then we can't. But if we say we can, then we can. It's as simple as that, and yet it's quite complicated. Okay, so Aquarius and love. Let's check it out. What's going on relationship-wise? Whoops. Oh, okay. We got our 3. Oh, my hawk feather smudge wafter fell over. Okay, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. And honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Okay, so a couple of things here. Pay attention to red flags. This, especially with that 8 of Swords, these can be your own red flags. These can be things that you've been ignoring, not necessarily just about yourself, but when it comes to other people as well. So you may have in the past ignored red flags because you weren't willing to look at the underlying reason why those flags were there in the first place. So, for example, you may have attracted individuals who were in need of deep healing and ignored the red flags that, maybe they didn't want to change, and you had it stuck in your head that you wanted to change them. It's a very common theme, especially in females. um, Trust me, I know. I've been there. So this is actually an underlying issue for us. It's not something that's external to us. We've attracted that situation, that relationship, because we are trying to heal something within ourselves, but we're externalizing it, and that's not a very productive way of going about healing. We cannot try to change somebody else and then find satisfaction within ourselves, because we will continue to have that broken part of us. So, and that's going to create the same circumstances over and over and over again. So, it's important to, again, pay attention to the red flags, especially as they relate to you. So, yes, be aware of what other people are bringing to the table, but also be aware of why you attracted that in the first place. So, look within and see, is there something within me that is attracting that for a particular reason? Is it something in me that needs to be healed? Have heart to heart conversations with yourself and with your significant other. This is a good way to suss out whether this person is going to be right for you or not, or whether you've attracted them for karmic reasons to help you to see these issues within yourself. Because sometimes, we do get ourselves into difficult and challenging relationships, but there's always a lesson there. There's always something that we can learn from it if we choose to see it in that light. Or we can, again, self delude and block ourselves off from that knowledge out of fear and continue to live the same relationship over and over and over again. So look at your relationships and really see what the patterns are, and kind of where that links up to what's going on within you. But yeah, pay attention to the red flags, and you can do that by having heart to heart conversations. So really share openly, honestly, and truthfully. And if you see something that, it's not going to work for you, then you have the opportunity to either heal this within yourself, or to, move away from that. Okay, so it's going to be up to you. Again, free will, you got choice here. But honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. So this could be something that is alerting you to a red flag of something that you need to heal, and then you have a heart-to-heart conversation, you put it on the table, you share openly, you heal it together, and then you're able to enjoy the space and the time to be together in a healthy sense of the word. So if you're in a relationship and you're experiencing a little bit of difficulties or challenges, then it's a good opportunity for you to look at why those particular things are coming up, how they relate to your own inner wounding, where you've limited yourself in some way or your beliefs, and then open up about that to yourself and to your partner, or somebody in your life who really supports you. King of Pentacles. So this could be a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, male or female. Doesn't have to be either one, but it's a king, so it's got that masculine type of energy. But this is something that you can heal within yourself and within this relationship, should you choose to look at it in a new light and take new action. Okay, so that's your reading. Why did I just sound like I was from Fargo there for a second? Okie dokie then. That's your reading, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you resonated, and if you want to see more content. I put out these readings every month, and I also do energy updates and spiritual chit chats and stuff like that. If you guys would like a personal reading to get more in depth into what's going on in your life, your situation as an individual, then please reach out to me. All of the information is in the description box below. There's a drop-down list. Just hit the show more button and you will see all of my services, offerings, and pricing, as well as how to contact me and book a reading or a session. I also am a holographic Yusui Reiki master, so I specialize in chakra healing, balancing, clearing, and divine soul alignment. Okay, I love you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.